Hello, welcome everyone. We'll get started in just a minute. We'll let some more folks come in. Oh, nice. Welcome, Cisco, Grayson. We have UT Tyler, NICC. Welcome. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Heather. See, some of my admins came to show support. Thank you. All right, we'll give it another minute or so. I think we're going to get started, and it is being recorded. So if anyone shows up a little late, they'll be getting the recording. All right, so hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's Back to School Faculty webinar. My name is Eva Chavez, a Higher Education Retention Officer or HERO here at Upswing. I'm excited to be with you as we prepare for the new academic year. Today, we're going to explore how Upswing can support your students and how faculty play a critical role in that support. So let's get started. All right, here's a quick look at what we'll cover today. We're going to go over Upswing's mission and services, what the student experience looks like, tutor best practices, faculty engagement strategies, and we'll leave time for questions at the end. So feel free to put them in the Q&A or in the chat. Just keep in mind that each school uses different Upswing services, so I encourage you to reach out to your campus's main point of contact to confirm which services apply to you and your students. All right. As I mentioned, I'm Eva. I've spent the last few years working closely with colleges to strengthen retention efforts and student support systems. I'm also a first-generation college graduate. Like many of your students, I didn't have family who could guide me through the college experience. I'm sure there were resources like ours on my campus, but without anyone guiding me, I had no idea where to even begin looking. You might have heard of my school. It's a small school called Arizona State University. That perspective drives my passion for helping students, particularly those who may not know what resources exist to support them. All right, now we're going to go over Upswing's mission and services. We are on a mission to end attrition. Upswing is a wraparound student services and engagement platform designed to empower historically marginalized students, like many of your students, first generation, veterans, working students, distant learners, parents, designed to tackle the most pressing academic and non-academic issues students face that cause them to drop out or stop out of school. So again, depending on what your school's contract, students may have access to some of these services. So I'm going to go over them. The first thing we offer is tutoring and peer tutoring, and that is 24-hour professional tutoring with over 150 subjects that we can support. We can also host your campus tutors and your peer tutors on the platform. Next, we have assignment review. Students can easily submit a writing assignment and receive feedback on average in less than 24 hours. And we have the writing lab that is included. It is self-guided videos on the writing best practices along with MLA and APA citation resources. Next, we have our mental health and wellness resources, and we have an amazing partnership with BetterMind. It is a one-on-one telehealth therapy with licensed clinical therapists. We also have a partnership with Togetherall, and they are a digital peer-to-peer support, 100% clinically moderated, 24/7, 365. And next we have is our mental health module. In our mental health module, it is inside of the platform where over 150 mental health videos that students can watch in the comfort of their own home on topics of anxiety, depression, bipolar. So again, they're short, quick videos on the platform. Next we have is Anna. Anna is our AI and human-powered SMS virtual assistant that provides support, encouragement, reminders, surveys, and information about campus resources. Next, we have our critical needs support. Upswing has partnered with Single Stop to make it easy for students to find support beyond the classroom. They complete a short intake form, and within minutes, they are aware of what resources are on campus and within their community that they could qualify for and apply to. And then last but not least, we have our success coaching. So here is our advising module where we have can host your advisors on the platform, and we have student workshops. And it's different from our one-on-one tutoring. Student workshops are more of a webinar style where students can come in a group setting and hear and learn about time and stress management, studying skills and test prep, personal financing and budgeting. So they're a great resource to have. So as we look at all of our services and how I mentioned that, Upswings is a wraparound student service, students rarely drop out due to one single reason. And more often it's a combination of challenges, starting with mental health and basic needs, followed by academic struggles. Like I mentioned earlier, we are a wraparound student service platform, and I'd like you to think of us more as an added layer of support. We're not here to replace any campus resources or tutoring center or counseling centers. We're here to help during the hours that maybe you're not open or subjects that you can't support. So I really want you to think about us in that way and not that we are trying to replace your services. All right. So now we're going to go over the student account overview and the student experience and what that looks like and how easy it is for a student to log in. And I think once you see how easy it is, if you've never been on the platform, it might make you feel a little more comfortable recommending these services to your students. Okay. Oh, let me log out. Sorry. All right, so this will be the first page that your student will see. This is actually our demo site. However, yours will be likely your school URL .upswing.io, and more often than not, they will log in with their SSO credentials, their login credentials for their school. So here I'm going to log in. You will see in your school, it will have your school campus name and colors. So I will log in. Wait for my code. All right, here we are. So here's the student experience and what it looks like. And I think at first glance, you can see if you've never logged in, this is a very user-friendly platform, very intuitive. A student can literally log in and just meet with a tutor. That is pretty self-explanatory. So what I'm going to go over is I'm going to show you how a student will schedule a tutoring session, how they would upload an assignment, I'll show you the writing lab and also our mental health module. So we're going to go ahead and get started with tutoring. Here, you'll click on the tutoring tab. You can either search by subject or by tutor. So I'm just going to search by subject. I'm going to look for chemistry. Let's just say I need help with general chemistry 1. And so the first thing that you'll notice, you'll see that students will have access to available now tutors. So it's the weekend, I need some help, and I just need help in that moment. You will see there are a lot of subjects that we can cover with tutors that are available immediately. The next bucket of tutors that you will see are, if you do have your campus tutors, you're going to see your campus tutors followed by the tutors that are available immediately. And then lastly, you'll see the Upswing tutors that are available. So again, like I want to mention, we always give priority to your campus and your tutors, and then we go after them. And we also can not only schedule now, so I can look at someone's bio. I can decide, all right, I think Brian, I like what he wrote. Let me look at his schedule. So I can decide, okay, do I want to meet on campus? Am I on campus on Wednesday? Or do I want to meet maybe online on Saturday? Because I'm off on Saturdays. So let's go ahead and click Saturday. I'm going to pick general chemistry and select the time that I'd like to meet. And I'll click schedule. So now, as I move over to the calendar view, you will see all of the sessions that I have done to practice for this webinar, but you will see my session with Brian, and now I have it scheduled for the 26th at 12 o'clock. Another great feature as well is if I put chemistry in here, and I decide I know exactly, what day, I can also filter it for the date that I can find tutors for that specific date as well. So I can either look for the schedule or I can look for an actual specific date. Oh, maybe like that. So now I can only see the tutors that are available next Friday because maybe that's my day off. All right, so now we've seen how to meet with the tutor. Next, I'd like to show you is how a student can upload an assignment. So you will see it is a quick, short intake form where a student will select a subject. Let's say I put writing. Next, they will put a title. Clearly, I've done what inspires you and what motivates you. So let's go ahead and put what motivates you. Select the spacing, so whether single or double spacing. Also select how many number of pages you have. And then here you will select a file that you would like based off of your downloads, and then any supporting file. So whether that's the rubrics or syllabus, followed by a description of the instructions that you receive for the assignment. And then last but not least, what would you like help with? So whether that's the thesis statement, the introduction, citations, grammar, etc. So this is where they would hit then submit, and you will see them on your current submission. So once the current submission is completed and returned by the tutor, it will then move over to your previous submissions. And you would have a history. The students have a history of all of their assignments they have submitted for review as well. So again, like I mentioned, these services, they're very intuitive. They're very easy to follow. A student can log in for the first time, never have heard of Upswing, and it's very easy to navigate. Next, I want to go over our writing lab. Like I mentioned on our services, these are self-guided videos where students can learn about, pre-writing, brainstorming, outlining, and they're just short, quick videos for them to kind of get ideas and some juices flowing. Next, we have our citation engine. So here where students can learn on different styles of MLA, APA, and how to cite properly. All right. I also wanted to go over our mental health support. Like I mentioned, these are short, self guided videos that students can watch in the comfort of their own home so that, they might be experiencing uh, panic attacks, but they don't know how to explain them. So this is a great way for them to, hear about some resources and it be kind of that first step to maybe seeking services on campus. And we also have the ability to put any services that you do have from your campus, or if you're partnered with Better Mind or Together All, to add a banner here where students, when they are here looking at videos and learning about, these different maybe depression or anxiety, they now have somewhere to click on to guide them, maybe for the counseling center on campus or a link to Better Mind or Together All. Again, you're going to see a lot more modules on mine because this is our demo site. So again, reach out to your main point of contact on your campus to see what services y'all are partnered with. All right. Now I want to talk about our Upswing tutor best practices. All of our tutors follow clear guidelines to support academic integrity and quality. All of our tutors are overseen and supervised by our tutor manager to ensure quality control. They all complete continuing education. And when we think about assignment review, I want to make sure that I emphasize that our tutors do not write papers or rewrite assignments. And I think for a lot of faculty, especially, they might feel a little apprehensive on maybe, having students use our services because they feel like, well, I don't want them to write a paper. I want to make sure that I do highlight that our tutors, they give constructive feedback, especially for writing like the thesis development, the structure or audience, kind of the higher order of concerns and less grammar and citation. But more importantly, the tutors do not write or rewrite assignments. And when it comes to synchronous, all of our tutors are required to be camera on, really to kind of build that connection. But also, our tutors do not and are not allowed to assist with any graded assignments, quizzes, or exams. All right, so here's where you come in. Faculty support is one of the biggest drivers for Upswing usage, and here's how you can help. First of all, we talk about curriculum integration, including Upswing in your syllabus, mentioning it during class, or offering extra credit for using tutoring services. Let's say if you have a student who's turning in disorganized essays, Upswing as an assignment review service can guide them through improving structure and clarity, not just the grammar. We also have classroom presentations where some of our schools and campuses, they do mini commercials where they have their campus tutors go to all of the freshman course studies, the ones that are, traditionally very difficult for students, or it's their first or second or third time taking maybe college algebra or English 101. And the campus tutors go and tell them and talk to them about all of the campus resources that are available to them, along with Upswing, as well as maybe getting them to log in real time so that they can all see how easy it is for them to search for a tutor or upload an assignment. We also talk about mandatory tutoring sessions, requiring a set number of tutoring sessions. Some faculty require students to complete one or two tutoring sessions after midterms or major assignments when they see the results. I think another idea is, especially for the courses, like I mentioned, the first year seminars or the classes that have high dropout fail rate, we see such great success when those courses require tutoring sessions. And when you think about as well, if you look at it from a student perspective where they might feel anxious coming to office hours or, meeting in person, offering Upswing tutoring service as kind of that first step to ease the fear could really build their confidence, because more often than not, a student who's taking Algebra 101 for the third time, This is their last probably attempt. This is the last time that they will likely feel confident enough to continue. So having that extra resource and making it a requirement where now, if they drop that class one more time, chances are they're dropping out forever. They're not coming back because their confidence is so low. But I think that's one of the things that not only tutoring can help is build confidence. Having students feel like I could finish. I I can succeed. And it sometimes takes it being mandatory for them to feel that. All right. And now we have faculty support. Faculty involvement is crucial. Students will likely hear about Upswing services maybe during orientation. They might even receive a text message from Anna about your tutoring, about our tutoring services or your tutoring services. They might pass by a flyer on campus or now see it mentioned in your syllabus or hear about it in your class. The truth is that students oftentimes need to hear it multiple times. They need to be reminded about it and they need repeat exposure before they finally take action. And that's just like us. I mean, if you think about it, how often do you have to drive past like a billboard before you finally decide to check out that website? Or, the same principles applies here. So these micro interventions can have a major impact when paired with your support. And oops, last but not least, I wanted to just quickly go over, we do also have more resources for faculty. We have the engagement kit and we also have our knowledge base. Within our knowledge base and our engagement kit, your main point of contact will have access to all of these links. If you do want to, within our engagement kit, you will see there are curated email templates that you could use to send an email to your students. There's also flyers that you could use as well. And you can access these via the engagement kit and your main point of contact will have that. And then we also have our knowledge base, and our knowledge base is our FAQ resource. So oftentimes when a student is on the platform and they are asking a question, they are being directed to here. So within the knowledge base, you can see there are very quick as well how-to videos. So for example, if you have a student who comes in and they ask, how do I schedule a tutoring session? You can quickly go here and send them a link, right? And it will show them not only it written out, but there's also a short video on how to schedule a tutoring session. Similar, there's also how to schedule, how to submit an assignment. So here you can see, how do I submit an assignment for review? So there's a lot of great resource in our FAQ knowledge base. So these are amazing resources if you are more curious about, Upswing and some of the questions that maybe are asked often. This is the place to go. And again, with assignment review, you can see here, we have a short, quick video on what I just showed you, right? You just have the intake, you put in the form, your information. And yeah, I'm curious to hear about some of the faculty that are here. Has anyone ever required tutoring or offered extra credit? And kind of what was the outcome? I'd love to hear about that in the chat. There we go. Oh, nice. So you offer extra credit for math, if they didn't pass their exam? Nice. All right. Well, I'm towards the end of my presentation and I see I am only 25 minutes in. Here's the time where we have some Q&A. I might have spoke a little too fast. But yeah, I would love to hear just any questions anyone has or um, if there are any kind of examples that you can share. We'd love to hear about them.
But it looks like you have a question from Sherry in the chat. She's saying, for the citation formatting, are the students provided templates as guidance, or are they able to enter their source data, and does it generate a citation for them, like EasyBib or Citation Machine?
They are able to see how to format, not it does not generate for them.
Great, thank
Great
you.
question.
And we have another question from Sarah. Maybe I missed it, but what documentation do the students get to verify the required tutoring session?
So we do offer for the admins, they're able to pull a report to see what students, so it could either be by subject, by a student name, where we're able to pull a report and show, when they had the tutoring session and for how long. I'm
Right.
also happy, yeah.
I can also add too that students receive an email reminder as well as a text reminder if they're opted in for that communication. Cindy asked, what if the student needs to cancel or reschedule a tutoring session?
Yes, they can do that within the platform where the actual view in their calendar, they're able to either cancel it and then reschedule a new tutoring session.
Great. I'm going to actually go over to the Q&A for a second and grab this question. Does Upswing have any recommendations or suggestions for ways that Upswing can be included in my syllabi?
Yeah. So we have our engagement kit where it shows like banners and how to integrate within it. I think every school has different integration systems. So you'd probably have to go through maybe someone on campus to integrate it into the syllabus. But we do have many schools who integrate it. And I think that is kind of the whole point of this training is that faculty engagement is so crucial so students know about these services. And one of the first places that students go is, in their syllabus, they look at resources.
Great. Another question, can you give a sense of what the writing lab offers the student?
Yeah. Well, within the writing lab, like I mentioned, they're self-guided videos. So they're short videos on brainstorming, on how to, form your outline, the pre-writing process, the editing process, the final, your first paragraph. So it's more short style videos and less, kind of like a tutoring one-on-one feel. We do recommend the webinars. Within our webinars, you'll see there are different topics like there are like resume writing topics. There are I have to look at some of the other topics, but there are some topics on citation specifically on APA and MLA citation for specifically more of that tutoring aspect of a webinar style that is in a kind of a group setting.
Great. I don't see any other questions. Does anybody have any other questions that they'd like to ask either in the chat or the Q&A?
Well, thank you guys so much for joining today. Your role as faculty is truly essential in helping students feel supported, connected, and confident. And We are always available to you. Your main point of contact is always available to you if you have any additional questions later on where you I know I didn't realize how fast I was talking. I'm so sorry. If you do think of something later that you'd like to ask, feel free to send me an email, eva@upswing.io, and I'm happy to answer anything later on.
All right, thank you, Eva. I'm going to
Yeah.
go ahead and I'm going to stop the recording.